Hello, my name is Dr. Amy Dasani, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about highly sensitive people. The reason why this topic resonates with me so much is because I identify as someone who is highly sensitive. So, what does that specifically mean? Well, I stumbled upon this book and another one called The Highly Sensitive Individual by a researcher and psychologist named Dr. Elaine Aron. And I found that I met a lot of the characteristics that she identifies, or that she identifies as a highly sensitive person. Um, we are born with this trait. About 25 to 30% of the population, from what her research shows, actually has this trait. And so, what does it really mean? I think it's related to having a sensitive nervous system. So, being in environments that are crowded or loud, we're sensitive to. Also, in terms of sensory issues, touch and clothing that is uncomfortable or scratchy in any way will make us uncomfortable. Also, needing a lot of quiet time, having many people with this characteristic also are introverts. There's also 30% who are not, or not 30% exactly. I'm not sure what the statistic is, but there are people who are highly sensitive who are also extroverted, but mostly people are kind of more introverted. So, they like to be around just fewer people, create more deeper, meaningful relationships, are very much deep thinkers. We kind of process the world. It takes us a while and sometimes to process the world because we like to think about things. We might see things differently than others. We might look into things, so be very highly sensitive to maybe criticism, or if we learn something new and we're very interested in it, we might take a lot of time to process the information, to think about it deeply. So if someone asks us right after we learn something new, it might take a while to actually explain or what our thoughts about it, because we're thinking about it and we're processing it. Um, just in daily life, in relationships, a lot of times we need some downtime. So although some of us like to be around people, most of us do. I think meaningful social connections are very important. We're very good friends, and like to be around people. We also need that downtime to kind of relax and ground ourselves. I use techniques such as relaxation and meditation to ground myself often. Um, as you can see, maybe from what I'm kind of some of the characteristics that I'm discussing with you, this can be very challenging to kind of live within the environment that we live in. We don't fit in always to general society because, especially within the United States, where we work so many hours, it's kind of a highly competitive work environment where we appreciate collaboration and working together. Um, a lot of times when we're working within corporate type environments, in a way we kind of get left behind because we're not going to be as assertive. So, kind of lacking those types of assertiveness skills. I mean, we're we we're extremely loyal, conscientious, a lot of times perfectionistic, very organized. A lot of these excellent characteristics, but at times that can be overlooked within work environments because we're not being as assertive. So even though we make great leaders, we may not always be hired for leadership type positions. Many people report who are highly sensitive really like to work individually as much as they can, very independent. We make great entrepreneurs in many ways, especially if we can work our own hours. I do believe that that it would be a good idea to almost like create your own life if you're a highly sensitive person in many ways. Um, many of us experience anxiety and depression throughout our lives, especially if we've had a lot of difficulties to overcome. So it's almost like having a little bit of a predisposition to some emotional difficulties because we feel so much deeper. So, you think like we're 25 to 30% of the population, we're thinking, feeling more deeper emotions than 70% of the population. So obviously, we don't always fit in, which can create um, anxiety, separation, isolation, loneliness. And those are characteristics of anxiety and depression. And that can go into a full blown anxiety disorder, or you can meet the criteria at times of a major depressive disorder. Um, However, I do believe that in many cases, we don't meet all of the diagnostic criteria for these disorders, but we have some symptoms. So that's why I would love to be able to work with this population because I identify it, I live it. And I feel that I've sort of created my life for it to kind of work with me. Um, and and I, as a healer, and I'm also a Reiki master, I've actually used energy healing type techniques and Reiki to work with my clients. Reiki can be done through touch, and it's life force energy that kind of comes through me and is able to create kind of a profound, healing, peaceful type experience, much like something like taking a warm bath or having like an acupuncture treatment. Seems to create balance within the body. So it's an intelligent energy. It knows where to go within the body to kind of create the change. It could be done from a distance.